Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is well. Want to share this story with you from the San Francisco Standard, and it is about insurance. And I've been talking about insurance for some time now because it is going to be one of those catch 22 things where it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you have insurance on, your automobiles, your home, anything, depending on the type of insurance and the company, your insurance could go up significantly, causing financial hardships for you and your family. You may need to readjust the way that you live, some of your expenses, get rid of some stuff just to maintain the things that you need to have insured. Or for a lot of people, insurance is not going to be an option, especially if you own your things outright. You may opt for the least expensive option and have to take L's where, because you have, say, liability insurance instead of having full coverage if you have a car and your car is paid off. Well, if you lose your car, you will be responsible for paying for a replacement because it'll only cover the damage of whatever damage you caused. But there are some instances where you won't be able to opt out of insurance, like if you own a home and you have a mortgage on that home. You're going to be required to have insurance. And if you can't afford the insurance, or you can't get insured, the mortgage company will offer you insurance. And you don't know where the insurance is coming from. They'll just tell you you have insurance and give you a, a quote or a new monthly mortgage rate with the homeowner's insurance wrapped up into it. And a lot of people are finding themselves unable to afford their insurance, especially by State Farm. I know a lot of people have been complaining about State Farm increasing rates, and they haven't made any claims, they haven't been in any accidents, but their insurance policies are going up. And it's because of issues in other places that they've had large payouts. And also because states and federal government has allowed insurance companies to increase their rates so that they don't go out of business. They don't care if you lose your home or your property if because you can't afford insurance, but they also require you to have insurance. So like it's a catch 22. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. But Babylon is falling, and they're going to be trying to stick it to us in every single way. So I wanted to share this story with you so you can understand why your insurance policy, especially if you're with State Farm, may be increasing. I know several people who have State Farm insurance, and their insurance went up, and they just found insurance someplace else. But some of these other big name insurance policies that um, you're accustomed to having, you may have to flee from those companies because they're not going to be affordable soon. So this says State Farm seeks seismic level rate hike as insurance crisis becomes perfect storm. So notice too, it's happening right when hurricane season hits, right when the wildfire season is about to start, right when the tornado season, strong winds, floods, all the things that are supposed to happen. So this is planned chaos, planned discomfort, planned basically raping us of our few riches and making it so that we're just debt slaves. All we do is work to pay money to corporations. So this is why you got to come out of this system, because this is no way to live like you're a slave in an open air market. You're just a slave. So it says mere months after its last rate hike went into effect, California's largest insurance provider is asking for another huge hike. And even though it's happening in California, they are spreading the love all across the country. So don't get it twisted. Earlier this week, State Farm's California subsidiary submitted a request to the Department of Insurance to raise its rates by an average of 30% for homeowners and 52% for renters and 36% for condo owners. So if you rent, do you see how much um, your increase is? This marks the latest escalation of California's home insurance crisis, which has seen a slew of insurance providers issuing dramatic rate increases, halting new policies, or leaving the state entirely. Insurance industry experts have described the state of California's insurance industry as a ticking time bomb, with a mass exodus of carriers severely straining the state's insurer of last resort, which only provides bare bone coverage. So you're paying a whole lot for bare bones. This is why people are leaving these blue states and coming to red states. But also, it's why, a lot of insurance companies have been leaving places like Florida as well, because the storms and the fires and whatever else has made it so where these insurance companies can't afford to stay in business, not without continuing to raise rates. So everybody's looking to scam us some more. State Farm itself stopped issuing new homeowner policies last year and left people scrambling when it announced in March it would not renew roughly 70,000 existing policies, citing inflation and increased disaster risk. So, to me, this is just another sign that, you're going to be left on your own. This is why you're not going to be able to rely on this system of things that they forced us into. We've been um, paying for, and now when you really, really, really may need it, it's not going to be available. So you should come to terms with the fact that you've invested a lot of money in things and come to expect a lot of um, a lot of insurance and assurance, and those things are going away. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion. As this storm season heats up and we get into next year, things are only going to get worse. So you gotta be having plans. Gotta have plans. Citing inflation and increased disaster risk. Shortly afterward, a credit rating agency for insurance companies, AM Best, downgraded State Farm's financial outlook to negative. The proposed new increase amounts to another seismic level rate premium shock, said Joel Launcher, program specialist at United Policyholders, a San Francisco based nonprofit that advocates for insurance consumers. If granted, State Farm's latest rate hike request would take effect when people renew their policies in 2025, and represent its largest increase in at least 7 years, according to the San Francisco Chronicle, which first reported the news. Meanwhile, the provider recently increased its home insurance rates by 20% in March, affecting more than 5 million Californians. So people are not going to be able to keep their homes. 20% is a lot of money, but that's the goal. So when you lose your home because you can't afford the mortgage and the insurance, The asset management companies are going to swoop in after everything fails and buy your house. And they'll let you stay in it, but you're going to rent it from them. The fast follow filing hinges on state legislation that allows insurers to request price increases more than normally permitted in order to protect the insurer's solvency. So they don't care if you can keep your property. They care about the business being able to stay in business, the shareholders making money, they getting the money to pay out what they promised. It's all a Ponzi scheme, and all the cards are falling, even though it's intentionally done because of all the things that they've done to the weather to make things the way that they are. And let's not even talk about the energy weapons that's setting stuff on fire. That's Don't talk about that either. But at the end of the day, it's all to make us codependent on the government and these systems. The Department of Insurance, which is charged with evaluating rate increase requests, said in a statement that it has serious questions about the request and plans to investigate State Farm's financial situation using all of its investigatory tools. State Farm had a loss ratio of nearly 90% in California last year, and it says the overall market in California had a loss ratio of 68%. So I'm gonna read this. So it says rate the requested rate hike is crazy high, according to Carl Sussman, president of the Sussman Insurance Agency in Los Angeles and an industry pundit. But the department will likely have no choice but to approve it if State Farm proves it needs the money to survive. He said, meanwhile, consumers are stuck because they don't have good alternatives given the flight of providers. So the best thing you can do is leave that place. It says it's a perfect storm because the timing of it couldn't be worse, Sussman said the state government needs to move faster to adjust its rules and processes to bring other carriers back, he added. For example, earlier this year, Gavin Newsom introduced a controversial bill that could speed up the state's review and approval process for rate hikes. However, this plays out. It makes clear that affordable homeowners insurance for California consumers may not be a part of our future financial landscape, said United Holders Locker, at least in the near future. So insurance is going up everywhere, and if you do not own your property, it's going to be very hard for you to hold on to it because um, you have to have insurance with your mortgage. So in case something happens, the mortgage company can make sure the debt will be paid. But it's getting to the point where all this country gets, this country is just one big corporation. So nobody is caring about what you can and can't afford. Nobody cares about if your stuff is insured. Nobody cares. All these people care about is money. So if you don't know who's running this world, you better learn fast. Nobody cares about you. All they care about is money. All right, this is Marley K. Love y'all, and I'm out.